Yes, my reaction to stress is to buy a buttload of books and chop all my hair off. Why do you ask? Hi guys, it's Justine here from I Should Read That, and today I am bringing you my YALC and Comic-Con book haul. So every year since 2017, I have been attending YALC, which is the Young Adult Literature Convention, which is held as part of London Film and Comic-Con. It used to be held in the summer, now it's in November, and it was not this past weekend, but the weekend before, and I bought a ton of books. It's kind of like the UK's answer to BookCon, but it's mostly specifically young adult books. It's kind of grown beyond just YA books. And there are tons of vendors, there are people selling bookish merch, there are publishers, there's loads of giveaways, lots of proofs and arc drops and such things. I hate queuing, despite the fact that I live in Britain now. So I actually didn't end up getting any proofs. All of these books I bought for myself. However, the vast majority of them were discounted in some way. So I have 17 books to show you, so I'm going to stop yammering and actually get to it. This will be fairly rapid fire, but I do want to talk about all of the stuff that I got because this is an especially banging list of books. So I'm going to start off with my special editions. I'm not much of a special edition girly these days. I used to be, but I do love a sprayed edge. So first of all, in the books that don't really fit into the theme of YALC at all, I picked up a copy of Penance and Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. These are books for the weird girls. I have actually read Penance. I have not read Boy Parts yet, although I do have the standard paperback on my shelf. And I cannot recommend her more highly if you like your literature a little on the weirder side. So if you ever want to ruin your day, I would highly recommend reading Penance. I love this book. It's one of my absolute favorites, but oh, it's really, really dark. Apparently the entire time I read this book, especially toward the end, I was going, so someone out there has just heard that and gone, ooh, that sounds like my kind of thing. You'll love it. The only other book in the stack that I have read is Buddy by Mona Awad, which I absolutely love. Another weird girl book that I would highly, highly recommend, but it is very divisive. You're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. This is the reissued hardcover. It's got little bunnies on the edges. I have, again, the standard paperback for this. I loved it, and I have the hardcover for the follow-up, We Love You, Bunny, so I wanted to get this to match. I did splurge a little bit and I bought myself a copy of the Mina Lima Frankenstein. So these are kind of interactive books that are from a famous design studio in London, I believe. And this is really hard to hold up like this. And it's got all of these like interactive, almost like pop-up books for adults elements. I absolutely love these. I have 3 or 4 of them that are in boxes, and I've been collecting these specific editions for books that I really love. Also, in case you were unaware, Frankenstein happens to be one of my favorite books, so I was thrilled when I saw this was publishing. And I am a woman who cannot resist a lucky dip. So these last 2 special editions, I didn't know what they were when I picked them up, and I'm very happy with what I ended up getting. So first up is from a company who does like sprayed edge editions specifically. They're not a publisher, but they're a shop that they do all their painted edges themselves. I cannot remember the name. I'll put it on the screen or in the description below if I can track it down. But I got their copy of The Bell Witches by Lindsay Kelk. This is a YA witchy book, as I'm sure you can imagine, and it has these beautiful edges. This was basically a lucky dip for a tenner, I think, and they're kind of like slight misprint editions. I suspect that this one was in that lucky dip because it has a torn cover, which doesn't bother me very much. But yeah, this is a book I've been really looking forward to reading for a while. And the second lucky dip that I got was The Locked Library, which is the Harper Voyager like subscription box. And every year for the past couple of years, they have brought a bunch of random boxes, and you can buy one for like 20 quid and see what you get. So this year I ended up getting The Legend of Menica by Kritika H. Rao. This is a beautiful book. Check this out. We've got the pink edges. We have this beautiful cover, which I think might be the standard cover. We have beautiful foiling on the boards underneath, and we also have these lovely end papers. So this is a book I've actually not heard anything about, but it looks like it is a YA romantasy book that is Southeast Asian inspired. I'm really looking forward to this. It does say that she is in the middle of writing a trilogy right now. I'm hoping this isn't the last book in that trilogy, because that wouldn't be ideal, but we'll find out. So moving on to standard editions, I got 2 paperbacks. The first is Somadina by Ikweiki Emezi. They are an author that I've only read one of their books before, which is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, which I really enjoyed. I've not read their YA stuff before, but one of my friends has read this and really, really loved it. And I'm gonna buy most of their stuff anyway, based on how much I loved their other book. And then I also picked up a horror book. This is Tastes Like Candy by Jessica Lacey. This is a YA slasher novel, which is one of my absolute favorite genres of horror. I love like a teen slasher. It's very reminiscent of like I Know What You Did Last Summer. A friend of mine recently read this and really enjoyed it, so I picked it up. So from Glance, I picked up a copy of How to Defeat Demon King in 10 Easy Steps by Andrew Rowe. I believe he is the author of Sufficiently Advanced Magic, which I have a copy of on my TBR. I have heard fantastic things about it. So this is a lit RPG book, which is not my usual thing. However, it sounds like it's going to be really fun. It sounds like it's going to be one of those books that kind of pokes fun at the genre, but also is a love letter to the genre. So I think that this is going to be super, super fun. If you have read this, please do let me know. Then I picked up a copy of The Lady in the Lake by Jean Menzies. She is here on BookTube. I also follow her on Book Talk. And this is an Arthurian retelling, but it's sapphic, which sounds fabulous. I've been waiting to get this book for a while. I found out that she was going to be at YALC and decided that would be when I would pick it up because she was doing a signing. However, my knees failed me before her signing happened on the Sunday, so I did end up leaving early, but I am really looking forward to this. Then I have Overgrowth by Mira Grant. This is, of course, the pen name for Shauna Maguire, who's one of my favorite authors. This is a sci-fi alien invasion story, and it sounds fabulous. I really love Shauna Maguire, and I've really liked her Mira Grant books that I've read so far, so this is going to be great. Now, I have to say, I have never been interested in Olive Blake's books before. They just didn't really sound like my kind of thing, but Girl Dinner definitely does. Girly cannibalism. I mean, what's not to love? I have really high expectations for this one. I love a cannibalism book, especially like a feminist cannibalism book, and I love pink horror, so this is going to be a really interesting one. I'm excited to dive into her books for the first time. Then I picked up a copy of The White Octopus Hotel by Alexandra Bell. This is one I have had on my radar for a long time because it sounds really lovely. It's about two people who live centuries apart who meet at the same hotel and they may have a second chance. And it sounds great. It sounds lovely and cozy. It sounds like a great winter read. Plus I love octopi. I think they're just fabulous. Then I have The Corruption of Hollis Brown by Kay Ancrum. This sounds like it's a YA kind of thriller book. Now, I will be completely honest, I don't necessarily know what this book is about, but I was with my friend Elle, and they happen to be a fantastic person for book recommendations. And if they say that a book is great, I'm probably going to pick it up. So I just went ahead and grabbed this one. I will say though, I did put a brief book haul on TikTok, and so far I've had several people message me to say that this is fabulous. So I think this is going to be a really good one. I'm really intrigued by it. Then I've got a book that I was really hoping to find. This is The Scammer by Tiffany D. Jackson. So I've only read one of her books so far, and I absolutely loved it. It was White Smoke, and it was such a fantastic YA horror book. This one sounds like it's maybe a little bit more of a thriller. This sounds quite sinister, and I'm really looking forward to it. She's not an auto-buy author for me yet because I've only read one of her books, but I think that once I do actually read some more of her stuff, she's going to be someone who I buy every single book from. And next I have a book that when I picked this up at the stand, the guy who was from the publisher who was working the stand was like, that is fantastic. I read it in a single day, in a single sitting. You will love it. And I was like, totally sold. This is There Is No Anti-Mimetics Division, and this is by Quintim. It's the pen name for a man named Sam Hughes. So this is a post-apocalyptic invasion book, and I've heard amazing things about this one from the very few times I have seen this talked about online, and it sounds like it's going to be exactly my cup of tea, and actually Scottish Husband has said this is one he wants to read as well, so I have to hurry up. And last but not least, we have The Sleepless by Jen Williams. Jen Williams, of course, is a very well-established fantasy author, and this is her romantasy debut. Now, I'm not usually much of a romantasy girly, however, not only does it have a beautiful cover and it's got lovely end papers, which you know is always going to get me. But I'm super intrigued by very well-established fantasy authors who are writing romantasy books. I'm very curious about how that will go. There's a couple of them that are on my shelf, well, in boxes at the moment. And yeah, I'm very curious about this. I have a friend who's a big fan of Jen Williams and she absolutely loved this. So that is it for my YALC book haul. Now I have to find a box for all of these books to go into. Wish me luck. I would love to hear if you have read any of these books. If you attended YALC this year, what did you think? Or if you attend any book events in general, tell me about them. That's it for this video, and I will talk to you soon.